Welcome inside Cavanaugh Hall here on the campus of IUPUI for Jag Sports Zone, where we bring you everything Jaguars athletics. I'm your host, Tyler Locke. On today's show, we'll show highlights from the week that was, honor our newest Hall of Famers, and give you a heads up on what you can look forward to this week. The men and women swimming and diving teams headed to Rochester, Michigan this past weekend for the Horizon League Swimming and Diving Championships. The Jags' first day started off strong with nearly all podium finishes. The team of Jung, Burke, Anderson, and Sandala finished on the podium in third for the 200 free relay, setting a new school record with a time of 1:27.66. In the women's 800 free relay, the women started off strong against Oakland University in the adjacent lane, but ultimately, Oakland pulled ahead in the final leg and clinched the top spot by 10 seconds, setting a new record in the event. The IUPUI team of Hatfield, Hannes, Rowe, and Ronke fought off Cleveland State with a time of 7:26.93 to take second. Over to diving. On day 3, where junior Riley Dowham scored an impressive 248.3 in the women's 1 meter diving to take home the third place award. After 4 days of competition, the men finished 4th overall with a score of 479.5, and the women finished 3rd with a score of 531. Congratulations to the entire IUPUI swimming and diving team for a job well done. Following their loss against Northern Kentucky, breaking their 13-game winning streak, the women's basketball team is ready to fight in the jungle for a regular season title. And fight they did. For the first time in school history, they earned their right to be the #1 seed in the Horizon League tournament. It was all about the second quarter as the team shot 70% from the field and hit shots like this bank-in 3 by Sydney Roll. What a shot. Still in the second, the ball is kicked out to Rachel McLemore for another 3. Milwaukee made a comeback late, but could never get the lead as we pull out a close one, 60-53. Getting back on track against Milwaukee, the women look to carry that into a matchup against the Phoenix of Green Bay in the jungle. We pick it up in the 4th. Frankie Works gets a step on the drive and foul to stall a comeback effort. On the other side, Macy Williams jolts the comeback effort with an and one of her own. Down 12 with 2 minutes left, Holly Hoopingarner, she jumps the pass to find Destiny Perkins for the layup. On the next possession, Perkins rips the ball off the press. She gets the bucket and the foul. Again, on the next possession, she steals the ball. She finds Hoopingarner as the ball is passed around the perimeter. And then as soon as she shoots and hits, the jungle explodes. 3 seconds left in the game, down 3. Perkins gets a look, but it is blocked. And that's how it ends. We fall 61-58. The women's basketball team traveled to Highland Heights to take on the Northern Kentucky North on the 15th. The women went in hoping to keep their 13-game win streak alive. Macy Williams led the Jags with 22 points, followed by Rachel McLemore with 15. IUPUI erased a 15-point deficit in the third quarter and was down by 7 with just over 2 minutes left to play. The Jags fought to the buzzer, but ended their streak with a 65-62 loss. In the Horizon League standings, the women stand alone at 14-3 in the conference and 20-8 overall, good enough to clinch the regular season title and guarantee them a #1 seed in the Horizon League tournament. The IUPUI's men's basketball team traveled to Dayton to take on the #1 ranked Wright State Raiders. IUPUI couldn't connect on his first 12 field goal attempts until Jalen Manette sunk this 3 at the top of the circle. The next possession, Wright State uses the pick and roll for the easy 2. Later, the drive, spin, and finish goes for the Raiders. Marcus Burke hits the 3 and did what he could, but ultimately it was a throwaway game as we fall 106-66. The men traveled to Chicago for a matchup against the University of Illinois Chicago as they finish up the regular season. It was another close defeat as the team, as 48% from the free throw line was the downfall. Marcus Burke had 28 and became the second player in school history to have 100 threes in the season, but it was not enough in a 77-72 defeat. The men's tennis team faced off against the Marquette Golden Eagles on the 16th at the West Indy Racket Club. Junior Sean Bailey picked up a win and a 3-set match at #3 in singles play. Bailey won the first set 6-1, but fell in the second set. He fought back to a 10-8 victory in the final set to win. Ethan Mardenes Budiono was the other Jag to go, 3 sets, but fell in the finals point. The junior won the first 6-3 but lost the last 4-6 and 10-12. The other singles match were claimed by Marquette in straight sets. Marquette also earns the double point with 6-2 wins. The Jags fell to the Golden Eagles 6-1. IUPUI's women's tennis team picked up their first win of the season in a 6-1 victory over Tennessee State. In singles play, the Jags won 5 out of 6 total matchups to finish the successful day. The softball team traveled to Texas for the UTEP tournament this past weekend. They began with a loss to New Mexico State in an 8-7 win against UTEP. They proceeded to lose the next 3 games against Omaha, UTEP, and New Mexico State, finishing 1-4 in tourney play. The men's golf team put up a strong opening showing of the spring schedule at the Savannah Harbor Invitational over Valentine's weekend. Junior Keegan McCullough just missed the top 10 finish at 2 over 218 and finished 12th. IUPUI tied with Northern Kentucky and Columbia to finish 7th out of 19 teams. Men's track and field had a busy week. First, at the Grand Valley State Big Meet in Michigan on the 14th, all 8 competitors posted personal bests. The following day, at the DePaul Indoor Invitational, Mitchell Gitz and Austin Holm each claimed individual wins in the 5,000 and 3,000 meters to lead the Jags to a 7th place finish out of 17 teams. The women's team was even busier this week, taking on 3 meets and 1 weekend. The team split between the Grand Valley State University Big Meet in Michigan and the Hoosier Hills in Bloomington on the 14th, and between Grand Valley State University and the University of Indianapolis on the 15th. The team posted many personal bests ahead of the Horizon Championship Leap Day weekend. The women's track and field team finished 12th in the Eastern Illinois Friday Night Special. Amani Miles finished 2nd in the 200 and 3rd in the 400, and Michaela Miller had a personal best in the long jump to lead the Jags. To take a deeper look at the results of any of your favorite teams, visit IUPUIJags.com. We're going to take a short break, but when we come back, we'll take you to the 2020 Athletics Hall of Fame induction dinner and honor the newest members. We'll be right back after this.
It's always out there. The horizon. A reminder that our greatest goals are rarely attained. And as soon as you reach one, another emerges. But every day we rise and work harder, dig deeper, ask one more question, take one more shot in relentless pursuit of our horizon.
Welcome back, everybody. This week, we headed to the IUPUI Hall of Fame induction ceremony to see some former star Jags get their name and game remembered forever.
Ladies and gentlemen, our IUPUI Athletics Hall of Fame class.
It was a full house at the 2020 IUPUI Athletic Hall of Fame induction ceremony this past week. This year, we saw 4 inductions into the Hall of Fame. Alicia Brock, who played soccer from 2008 until 2011, Janisha Can, who played basketball from 05 to 09, Mitchell Geiger, who was a swimmer from 2009 to 2013, and finally, IUPUI employee Sharon Holland from 1973 to 2019. Alicia Brock started off the night and got emotional when describing the love she had for her team.
Now to my girls. I had many teams before IUPUI, but this will always be my team. This will always be my team where I learned how to be a real teammate. We battled together, won together, lost together. We were on the road to places like North Dakota, and we flew to Barcelona. We were also the first NCAA appearance for the program. We didn't win there, but we did lose to the eventual national champion. All these things we did it together. There was drama, and there were tough times, and there were a lot of sprints. And more sprints. But I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Janisha emphasized how the hard work she put in paid off in the end.
Hard work didn't go unrewarded. Just know that, all the days that I got yelled at in practice. I came here for basketball scholarship. I feel like I'm on the track team. Spend more time on the track than we did in the gym. Basketball track. But at the end of the day, like she said, it worked out. It stay here. So it was just an honor and a privilege to be able to come out here and show my talents.
When it was Mitchell's turn to speak, talking about his parents is what made him very emotional.
To my parents, not gonna look at them. Thank you for being the epitome of unconditional love and unconditional discipline. Growing up, I never fully realized the sacrifices you made for Brittany, Tyler, and I. They say once you have kids, you cry a lot. I don't have kids. You always made sure to provide us with every opportunity possible to succeed. You worked endlessly so we could afford the best coaches at the best clubs. You drove us from practice to practice, meet to meet, oftentimes leaving work early, foregoing time with each other, and made our happiness and success your number one priority. You never missed a beat, and you did this all by showing us what a strong relationship really looks like. You never let our God-given talent go to waste, and reminded us that our talents were indeed because of God. Your love for us is something I will never fully understand until I have children of my own. So at this rate, it looks like it's something I'll never understand.
And finally, it was Miss Holland's class that stole the night.
It has been, as I said, a true honor and a privilege to work with athletics, to work at IUTY for all these years. And again, it's been a labor of love. And I can't thank all of you enough for, number one, making it possible. And number two, for all the recognition tonight. It's almost more than I can comprehend. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And go Jack.
What a great night. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll tell you our Geico Performers of the Week and give you a preview of what's to come. Stay right there.
Indianapolis, the heart of hoops hysteria. And beginning in March, the home of the Horizon League Men's and Women's Basketball Championships. 8 teams look to reach the horizon and punch their ticket to the NCAA tournament at the Indiana Farmers Coliseum. Semifinal action takes place Monday, March 9th, and Horizon League champions are crowned Tuesday, March 10th. Visit horizonleague.com for more information and to score your tickets today.
Welcome back to the Jag Sports Zone. We have a total of 8 Geico career performers this week. They are Macy Williams from the women's basketball team, Sean Bailey from men's tennis, Samantha Hayward from women's tennis, Marcus Burke from men's basketball, Sabrina Elder from women's track and field, Reese Malpitt from women's golf, and Keegan McCullough in men's golf, and finally, Ben Savage from men's track and field. The men and women's track teams will head to Youngstown, Ohio on February 29th to compete for the Horizon League Championship. The men finish up the regular season with a homestand against Detroit Mercy on February 29th at 7 p.m. The game can be streamed on ESPN3. The women's basketball team wraps up its regular season on February 28th with Senior Day in the Jungle against the University of Illinois Chicago. The game starts at 7 p.m. and can be streamed on ESPN+. The softball team has a tournament in Bowling Green, Kentucky beginning on February the 28th. They begin against Illinois State at 11 a.m. and then take on Western Kentucky at 4 p.m. Sunday, they take on Austin Peay at 11 a.m. The men's tennis team welcomes Austin Peay into the West Indy Racket Club on February 29th with the match starting at 2:30 p.m. The women's tennis team will defend their home court when they take on the Governors of Austin Peay on February the 28th. That match begins at 3 p.m. The women turn around the next day to welcome Northern Illinois in a match that begins at 6:30 p.m. The women's golf team begins the Kauai Island tournament in Kauai Island, South Carolina on Sunday, March 1st. Wishing all our Jags the best of luck. We thank you all once again for tuning in for this edition of Jag Sports Zone. Make sure you check out all the upcoming Jaguars action. This is Tyler Locke signing off until next week. Take care, and remember, go Jags.